What up everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Alright guys, so today's video I am super excited. It is the full-length podcast that I did with pro wrestler Nina. Guys, so if you guys want to listen to this podcast instead of watching this video, be sure to check it out on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. There will be links in the description for you guys to check out. And if you guys want to watch the video instead, all the videos that we mentioned in this whole podcast, everything will be in the description for you guys to check out. If you guys are here from Nina's fan base, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you stick around. I post a ton of different types of videos, not just podcasts. My name is Rodrigo, aka Roddy Blaze. And guys, I hope you guys enjoy this interview. Be sure to check out my podcast, the Rodcast Podcast Show, again, on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Subscribe if you're not already, and enjoy this interview. Let's get it. Woo! All right.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh my God. All right, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
For sure. I still find it crazy, which is, I mean, it's like basic stuff, but it's still crazy. It's 8 a.m. right now, and it's 11 p.m. over there. That is crazy.
It is. It's such a huge time difference.
I know. Oh my God. I was like, man, it's like, what? You're about to sleep? Like, you're literally gonna go to sleep right after this.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll probably have a snack first, and then. But I mean, you can imagine how crazy it is. My boyfriend and I do long distance, so he actually lives where you live in California.
Oh, what?
Well, he lives in California, and so yeah, we do this time difference, and we deal with it every single day.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, we make it work.
nothing new to you then.
Yeah, totally fine.
I think this is the earliest I've ever done an interview.
I'm sorry. I'm
no.
sorry.
I was like, it sounds like a challenge. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty late here too. It's like 11 p.m. So.
Yeah. Do you have people around you that you're gonna wake up or no?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it's all right.
I was about to say, like, before this whole quarantine thing, obviously, you know, I was going to the gym, right? So I would wake up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym at 7 a.m. and that was Monday through Friday. So I was completely used to waking up early. But then when when the gym closed and everything, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna wake up early anymore. I was like, I don't have any.
Super lazy too.
Yeah, so I've been sleeping in for like the past 2 months or so. So that's why I was like, ooh, 8 a.m. is the earliest I'm waking up in a while. So all right.
I mean, take advantage of it. Sleeping in like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. All right, guys, here we go. Guys, so Nina, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh,
it's really cool how like international people find me.
Yeah.
I'm like this little unknown wrestler from like Southeast Asia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I found you first on Twitter, I believe, like on the recommended section.
Right.
Yeah, I found you first on there, and then I don't know, just one day I saw one of your tweets and everything, and then I was like, I wonder if this girl has Instagram too. So I typed in the same username to see if maybe she has the same one, and I was like, oh, so then that's how I found you on Instagram, and then from there I just like, you know, the rest is, you know, became a fan, and you know,
right.
You know,
Thank you. Well, thank you for, you know, being a fan of my work and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, there, no problem. So I try my best to stay professional and say, but sometimes it's hard, you know, for the fan in me not to come out during this interview. If it comes out, then, you know, my mistake, you know.
It's all right. Oh my gosh, like I don't know why anyone would be such a big fan of me, like especially someone who's like who doesn't live in Asia or who doesn't live in the Philippines. It's kind of crazy how people find me.
Okay. Would you say like the majority of your fan base is local for you?
I mean, I guess because it's not like I've wrestled in many places. The only country I've wrestled is the U.S., but I've only done like one show and then that's it.
Okay.
You know? But yeah, I wrestle mostly in the Philippines, so
right.
Even in the Philippines itself, it's not like I have a giant fan base or anything. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
I noticed that Americans are so supportive. Like that one time that I wrestled in California, I just gained such a huge following. Well, most of that was because of my opponent. but but yeah, like, and everyone just keeps messaging me, those who have watched me when I wrestled there. It's so heartwarming.
If you don't mind me asking, is your boyfriend a wrestler too?
He is, yes.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So that's pretty much how we met. So behind the scenes, he's actually part Filipino.
Oh, okay.
So one time he wanted to go visit his grandparents in the Philippines, and along the way he found PWR, Philippine Wrestling
Okay.
Revolution, is like, which is my home promotion.
Okay.
And he found it, and obviously he took the opportunity to wrestle for us, and so that's how we met.
Okay.
And yeah, and then like 2 years later, yeah, I was able to go to California to where he lives, and I was able to train at Santino Brothers for a while, which is
Oh,
like
okay.
arguably SoCal's like best wrestling school. So I had that opportunity, which was amazing. And then after that, I made a second trip to California, and that's when I finally was booked. And I faced Taeler Hendrix, so that was really
Right.
cool.
Oh, that's something that I was actually gonna ask you about it earlier too, because like Taeler Hendrix too. I'm also a big fan of hers. So I was gonna ask you later in this interview, but since you brought her up now, that was probably a better time. What was it like working with Taeler Hendrix? Because she like every time. Okay, so every time I see her in a match, she's always a heel, so she's always like all mean and whatnot. But every time I see like her post on social media, she's, oh my god, I feel like she's so sweet. Like she's like the
She's the
nicest person.
sweetest.
I'm like, this person has to be fake, because I was like, I have never met anybody this nice. I was like, oh my gosh, which I kind of sound like I'm bashing a little bit, but no, I'm not. But
No,
like
it's
I'm like, there's no way somebody is this nice. I'm like, oh my god, but she seems like she is so like the nicest person ever. What was it like meeting her or working with her? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. She's just the most caring opponent I've ever had. Like,
yeah.
she was so sweet. Like, she would be so rough in the ring. I mean, not in a bad way, but then like when she looks at you, it's just like she really wants to kill you. Like it's like a switch, you know.
Yeah.
And we're there battling it out, and then at some point she'll have me in a headlock, and then with like the sweetest voice you could possibly imagine, she'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like in the middle of the match, and it's like, I don't know. It's really like she has like a switch, you know, when she gets out the curtain, and I think it's so cool. But yeah, behind the curtain, she's just really, really, really sweet, really caring. She's obviously so much more like of a vet than I am. Like, she has been in this business for so long, has faced all these really reputable wrestlers and stuff like that. So I really admired her. I was a fan myself, and to be able to meet her, let alone like just wrestle with her, that was like the coolest experience ever. I was able to do that because so my boyfriend Koto Hiro, this is his ring name, he is currently champion in Taeler Hendrix's promotion, NPWL. So that's like a promotion in NorCal if you want to check that out.
Okay.
But yeah, I had the opportunity to wrestle there. I had 2 matches in the same night. So that was really overwhelming. Yeah, I did. I opened the show, and then I had a match with Taeler towards the end. And the first match, my first opponent was Grace Lee. So she's a wrestler in NorCal as well. So that's just really cool.
Was that
I've
part
never
of
done that before.
was that part of the like the show all along? You having 2 matches?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
what?
definitely. Yeah.
Oh,
So
what?
yeah, it was really, really overwhelming. So I mean, I get there, like I get to the venue, and I don't know what I'm doing. You kind of wait for the producer or the bookers to tell you, you know. And I get there and I'm scared, like, am I gonna face Taeler or not? I don't know. I'm like doubting myself. It's like, why me? You know, like I don't deserve that. But so she comes in and she tells me that I'm having 2 matches. So I'd be like on the first match and then the sixth match, and I would face Grace Lee first to kind of like establish myself, since the crowd like have no idea who I am.
Right.
So just to establish myself, and then I would win that match to go on to face Taeler later that night. So again, I'm a really small time wrestler from the Philippines. I'm really no big deal. I mean, I'm so sorry for like the self-loathing, but it really is like, it is overwhelming, like to do stuff like this. But anyway, back home, we really do it differently. Our company or our promotion basically just started, and right now, like, we would have 1 match per month and stuff like that. So we really wouldn't wrestle as often. And when we did, we had like a whole month to prepare and write and stuff like that, which what I was used to.
Right. Okay.
Until I got booked in the US, and they do it differently over there. Like over there, it's like like I said, you get there, you don't even know who your opponent is, so you don't have like all those days of preparation. Like you just have a couple of minutes or a couple of hours to actually make something up. So I was completely new to that, so that freaked me out, but I knew that I needed to do that to be able to grow as a performer. So it's basically just throwing a baby in the middle of a pool, like teaching them how to swim. That was pretty much me in that moment. And to be able to do 2 of them too, like in the same night, which is another thing I've never done before. So it was such a crazy night, but I was like so thankful for being able to wrestle in front of the American crowd.
Oh man. So how long have you been wrestling?
Actually, it's really been on and off. I started in 2014, so that's when I first started training. But PWR was really like it in its earliest stages.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really, like, we didn't have a proper training program, we didn't have a proper ring. Like it was really just like a dozen dudes or less even, just doing what they love and trying to learn like on their own. So I did that. I was like there from the start, I guess you can say. And then later on, because we didn't really have the most proper trainers, I ended up injuring myself. So I broke my collarbone during training. Yeah, and so I had to take time off. So I think I took about 9 months off. It took me like 4 months to recover, but 9 months, like, I used the rest of the months because it was really hard for me mentally to go back, especially when my family was stopping me from doing it, because obviously they didn't want to see their baby girl get injured like that and just break bones. So they were really angry about it and told me to stop doing it. So there I was. 9 months later, I remember it was my birthday on WrestleMania Day. So, and I think, I forgot which WrestleMania that was, but it was the one with the triple threat with Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha.
Oh, WrestleMania 32.
Yeah, for the women's championship.
Right.
Yeah,
2016.
That was definitely a show stealer. So I watched that and I just remember just crying, and it reminded me that, hey, like, that this is what I want to do. And I felt okay. Like I didn't feel hurt anymore. I was fixed, and I knew I could come back. So I snuck in, obviously, without my family knowing, because if they did, they would have killed me. And so I did that for about a year. And then I was able to debut in 2017. And then I kind of like garnered a lot of attention because in PWR, like there aren't that many female wrestlers.
Oh, okay.
We're about like 5, and I think I was like I don't know, yeah, but I came in pretty early. Like I was like the 3rd woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was the very first heel too. So I don't know, like a lot of people made a fuss about it on social media, and eventually like was able to reach my family. So then they got really, really mad. So then I had to stop for like another 2 years. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was
What?
such a crazy roller coaster, like on and off. And then eventually I finished school, so I got my diploma. And finally I was like, hey, like I did everything I could. Like I got my diploma, I finished school, everything. Like, can I go back now? And then they were like, yeah, fine, okay. Like, you're an adult now, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came back only like 2019, last year actually.
Oh man, so this answers my question. It was actually a question I was gonna ask you, and you answered the question without even me having to ask the question. So
I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
well, no. I love it. Please go on and on. Do not cut anything short. But something I was gonna ask is, as I was preparing for this interview, I saw on YouTube, and I was watching a match. I believe I forgot the name of your opponent, but it was a guy. I think.
Ralph Imabayashi.
I think yes, yes. And
Imabayashi, yeah.
and the announcer, he said making her re in ring debut, and then
Yep.
I was like re in ring debut, and I think it was like just last year, I think. And then professionally wise, I was going through your Instagram, to get some more information, right? And then I saw one of your posts, and it said it was your first match in 2 years. So I was like, whoa, I was like, what happened? I was like, did you stop wrestling? And then, so that's why I'm like, you answered my question without even me answering the question.
Yeah, so that's why they announced it that way. Re-debut. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever happened to anyone.
Yeah.
But
So as you were telling me the story, in my head, I'm just like, it all makes sense now. Like, that's why they said re-debut.
yeah. So I had like one match on a show. Like I thought like, oh my gosh, this is it. All my hard work paid off. And then literally a week later it was taken away from me. So that was really, really tough. Like those 2 years in between were probably the roughest years of my life.
How do you feel now? Everything going good now? Like your body
Yeah,
was?
I mean, I live in an Asian country, and Asians typically, I mean, Asian parents are very, they don't let go of their children the way Western people do. Like, I feel like in Western countries, once you turn 18, it's like that's it.
Yeah.
You are an adult and you can get out. Yeah, I mean, in Asia, that's really not the case. They really keep you until like your mid-20s. So yeah, I just turned 24. I was 23 when I made my re-debut. And you can see like I was already 23, and that was like the only time I was able to get my freedom back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice though.
So with PWR, you said you were with them in the beginning. So how exactly did you get, or how did you hear about them, and how did you get your foot in there?
Well, I was actually looking for WWE merch. on Instagram, back when you can like really search things easily through the hashtags.
Right. Oh,
So
yeah.
I remember this was like the preliminary years of like of Instagram.
Makes it sound old, man.
And then I remember just typing like hashtag WWE Philippines or something like that. I don't know. I just was looking for a reseller of WWE merch.
Mm-hmm.
And under that hashtag, I saw like a bunch of like Filipinos who look like children and who are completely unfit, and they were just like what looked like to me like they were like just wrestling like from the thumbnails. I was like, oh, what is this? So I click on it, and yeah, it was just them in a makeshift ring, doing like all these wrestling moves on each other. And I think they were like, yeah, they were about like 5-6 people in that promotion at that time, and so I just checked it out, and they had like only a couple of posts, but yeah, they were like, join us, join PWR. We are Philippine Wrestling Revolution, like the only wrestling promotion in the Philippines, stuff like that. And I was like, there is no way that I am not joining this. So yeah, I just shot them a message and I was like, hey, like, so I want to be part of whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
How can I train, or can I train with you guys? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they took me in with really open arms, and yeah, like 5 years later, here we are.
So you weren't wrestling before that, or that was
No.
so that was just barely when you wanted to be a wrestler?
Yeah, like
Okay.
that was because I mean, in most schools you have to be 18 before you join anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So,
Oh.
and this was the case as well for PWR. Like you have to be at least 18 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when I had just graduated from high school. So yeah, I was like a fresh 18-year-old. So
Oh
I
my
was like, all
god.
right, I can do this now. Yeah.
And you're currently 24, right? You said.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Man, okay, so something that I believe I watched a short clip of when you did an interview with Taeler Hendrix. And
Yeah.
so I try not to ask the same questions, but in this case, I'm like, okay, um, my audience, obviously, they never heard of you, so I really want my audience to hear this, and if you don't mind sharing this story. But there's this, so I heard in the interview you did with Taeler, is that your inspiration to wrestle was AJ Lee,
Yes.
right?
Like
Yeah.
I have her logo tattooed.
Right. Yeah. Something that's, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Look at that. That is so cool.
So it's her pink spider with like the heart-shaped body. Yeah, that was like my first tattoo ever when I was 19. I dedicated that to her. Because she was kind of like my biggest inspiration to actually pursue wrestling. So I
Right.
mean, I've always enjoyed wrestling. Actually, I've been watching wrestling since I was about like 7 years old, 7 years old.
Oh yeah. Hey, me too.
Yeah, so I've always been a huge fan,
Mm-hmm.
but and it kind of like the way I was being a fan, like obviously evolved. Like when I was a child, I was so into it. Like the good guys were the good guys, and the bad guys
Yeah.
were the bad guys. Are done. Like there was
Mm-hmm.
no like internet to tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
So then it evolved to, oh, okay, I'm kind of like understanding that this is fake,
Yeah.
like these are just characters, and there's like a business aspect to it.
Yeah.
So more and more, and it evolved to, I started writing about it. So I was like a complete smark. So I was writing like in like these wrestling news sites and stuff. So all that bullshit you read, like WWE articles, like
Right.
I used to be one of those writers.
Oh, okay.
So I did that when I was like 17, and then yeah, like when I hit 18, I saw the opportunity right in front of me, and I was like, maybe this is it. Like this is where I start. So I did it.
Something else that was pretty cool was you said that the move that you really wanted to learn was the Total World Ddt.
I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting the guy.
Inabayashi.
Yes. Okay. I
Yes.
saw you. I saw you do the move on him, and first I saw that video or like that match, and I saw you, and I saw you do that move to him, and then as I was doing my research, I went to your Instagram, and I saw you post that this is a move that you really wanted to learn. So
Yeah.
if you could, I mean, I know, but if you could please tell the listeners or anybody watching this right now, what is it about that move that meant so much to you?
Okay, so I was a huge AJ Lee fan. Like, when I say huge, I mean I used to dress up like her. I used to like cut up my CM Punk shirts and my Dolph Ziggler shirts exactly the way she would, and I'd wear them, and I'd collect chucks. I would put makeup like she did and do my hair like hers. Like, I really just copied her. Like, I was so inspired. Yeah, so one of the moves, she didn't do it too much when she was in the main roster, but back when she was in NXT, she did it a lot, which was a Total World Ddt. If you don't know what it is, I suck at describing it, so I guess just you go on YouTube and look for it. But she did it one time on Naomi. That too is on YouTube, folks. Everyone should watch that. It's like 6 seconds, but it would be like the best 6 seconds of your life. Like, she did on Naomi, and it was like the smoothest thing I have ever seen. Like, honestly, from that, right when I saw that video, I was like, okay, this is my favorite move ever. And I'm gonna do this one day. So I get to my first day of training, and my coach at that time, like, obviously they didn't know how to teach pro wrestling because they themselves were just fans trying to learn.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of all over the place, and then he was just like, well, are there any moves you want to learn, I guess? And then I was like, right off the bat, I was like, Total World Ddt, which was very ambitious of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was better off learning all my fundamentals first before ever attempting such a move. So yeah, I wasn't really able to do it. I remember doing her Black Widow move.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of similar, I guess, because of like all the twirling. So I was really proud of myself that day. But yeah, there's something about the Total World Ddt. And I remember years later, like into my training, when I was like, when I had my fundamentals down, I was like, why not attempt this move and probably for real insert it in my own moveset? And then I tried it one time at practice, and it was one of the hardest moves I've ever attempted. It's really hard, not only for me, but also for my opponent. Yeah, but the magic with Ralph Imabayashi, he can do anything, and he's honestly just the best. And yeah, I was able to do it with him, and that was the first time I ever executed it like in front of an audience. And I don't know, there was something so special about that moment. Because I really told myself, like, from the beginning, like from my first day of training, I was like, I'm gonna do that move one day. If not now, I will do it. And yeah, all those years later, I was finally able to do it.
So what's your current finisher right now?
I actually don't have a name for it. But it is technically a faceplant DDT. Which is actually a finisher that Seth Rollins, because I'm also a really big Seth Rollins fan, it was a finisher that Seth Rollins used in between the curb stomp and the pedigree. Like, it was that really short phase where he was trying out these finishers.
Right. You kick your leg back, right, and then you do a right. Okay. Yeah, I know
that one. that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why he decided to get rid of it and use the pedigree instead.
Yeah.
I thought that move was awesome. So
Yeah, it was when they were like just, when they banned the curb stomp for the first time. And then
yeah, so that was when he was experimenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with the what was it called, the ripcord knee? He only used that for a good while. I don't remember. Yeah. And now he uses now he's back to the stomp.
Yeah, I know.
They don't even call it the curb stomp anymore. They call it the stomp.
I don't know.
Which I don't know.
WWE so.
It sounds I don't know. Curb stomp sounds like, badass, but just the stomp. I don't know. It's just
The stomp.
So
yeah.
so you said you've been a wrestling fan since you were like 6 or 7. So when you were in high school, did you have a lot of friends that were also wrestling fans, or were you kind of the only one?
Not.
You too? Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
back when WWE was like peaking during its ruthless aggression days, I used to be such a huge fan back then, and I did have a couple of classmates that were fans too and were watching at that time. But that was like, I was about, I forgot how old I was, like probably 10 or 11, and I was like 4th grade. But yeah, so but after that, actually I took a break from watching wrestling just because I kind of got like the interest just wasn't really there anymore. This was during like, so I missed that whole Edge and Randy Orton tag team. I missed the Straight Edge Society. Like I wasn't there for all of that. And then I only got back to it when CM Punk was WWE champion.
Oh, okay. That's like 2011.
So yeah, that was really like, the peak CM Punk days, Daniel Bryan, AJ Lee, like all of that. Like that's so when I saw her, obviously, I mean, I still remembered wrestling from back then. Like I remembered my favorites from back then, like Trish Stratus and Lita and just all these other girls. I used to watch Tori Wilson and then I saw AJ on WWE television, and I thought she looked really different. I really thought she was really relatable because I was once that wrestling nerd in school too, and no other girls could relate to me because I was such a tomboy and stuff like that. So like just her story in general really, like I really resonated with it. And so yeah, I was like, man, if she can be one of like the top WWE stars and wear a pair of Converse shoes and a cut up t-shirt like in the ring like that, then I totally can. Like it really inspired me. I was like, well, if they're hiring girls like her now and she's like changing the game and changing, the system, then yeah, it just gave me a huge beam of hope.
Oh man. So then when you were in high school, did you also wear all the AJ Lee merch or no?
I totally did. That was my peak. Like that was when AJ Lee was at the top, and CM Punk. I was such a huge CM Punk fan too. I would buy bootleg versions of their t-shirts so I could cut them up. I would spend hours just tying my shirts and stuff like that, and cutting and distressing and braiding, like everything. And I used to wear that to school with like the denim shorts, and I bought like all these colors of Chucks. So I actually had a huge collection of Chucks prior to being an AJ fan. So I was like, oh my gosh, like she's so me. So it just like it really motivated me to get more. So yeah, that was my style. And I mean, just naturally, I've always had really long dark brown hair. That's never changed at all. So yeah, I would try to look like her and dress like her, but at the same time, I mean, I would also like be inspired by her, like wrestling wise. Like I would take my hairbrush and start cutting promos like her in front of the mirror and stuff,
Oh,
just
okay.
because like obviously I think we were all inspired by how good she was on the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Which was very revolutionary for the women at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those things I just like admired from her. And actually it's really funny because when I got to the US and I had those 2 matches, so I finished my first match obviously with Taylor watching, and then as soon as I get to the back, she's like, you take a lot of inspiration from AJ Lee, huh?
Oh, what?
I was like,
What?
like I never had that conversation with her, like nothing. It's like she just knew, like she told me that I had so many of her mannerisms and her style, and like, yeah, that it was obvious to her as a fellow worker, like who I was inspired from. So I guess that makes me happy.
Yeah, I was
Like,
like, what? I was like, what?
I mean, I don't want to be like compared to her 100%, and I
Mhm.
don't want to be her, because obviously, like, I'm not going to be the next AJ Lee. I'm going to be the next me. But and I mean, I do draw inspiration from so many other
Right.
wrestlers as well. But for people to see like that hint of AJ, and it's just, AJ taught me a lot. That
Yeah.
like it shows like how much she taught me. So.
Did you ever see her wrestle live?
No, unfortunately, that hurts to think about. Every time I think about it, like my heart aches. Like I would post on my Instagram about her sometimes, like all my stories and stuff, and I'd be like, if I ever meet AJ Lee, I think I would have like cried like every ounce of fluid I have in my body. Like,
Yeah, well,
I
well, I don't know if you saw the video of her when she met Lita. I don't know if you saw that video,
yeah,
but she's like crying. You're like, I'm like, I feel like that would be like this. Like, imagine that
would
same
be
thing
me.
happened. Yeah, you know, she's like she was just crying her eyes out when she met Lita.
She was like 14 years old in that picture. I would have been like
Yeah.
24, like sobbing in her presence. Yeah.
So going back to PWR, you guys had an event. I think it was last year. PWR Homecoming. Was that
Yes.
last year? That was last year.
That was October. Yeah, October 2019.
Right. Oh, okay. Something that I thought was really cool was you guys had TJ Perkins on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So, Homecoming was a really big show. It was the biggest show that Philippine wrestling has ever really produced. So it was a huge deal for all of us to be able to have that honor. I don't know, like to be able to wrestle with a crowd of that capacity. And obviously to have a crowd of that capacity in the first place, we knew we needed a bit of help. And so we called on our Filipino brothers, Jeff Cobb, if you didn't know, he's part Filipino, so we had him on the show as well. TJP, obviously, everyone knows he's Filipino. He would represent our flag in the WWE. So obviously we have a lot of gratitude and respect for him. And obviously we just thought like it wouldn't be a homecoming if we wouldn't have these amazing talent like who represented our flag like across the globe, across like all these amazing like big promotions like WWE, New Japan, etc. So yeah, we had them over. It was so surreal. Not only just to meet them, you know, in front of you, get their autograph and a picture. It was sharing a locker room with them. It was drinking with them. It was it was them training you and giving you advice on wrestling, and it was so surreal to have that opportunity. I think everyone was so excited, and that day was just like a dream. So luckily we recorded it professionally. It was like, honestly, when I watched that back, it was like, whoa, production! Like, I look so legit. Like, yeah. So we recorded all of that, and finally, after so many months of people like the locals wanting to see it, we released it for everyone on pay-per-view. So for those who are listening right now, if you actually want to watch PWR special Homecoming, you can actually just visit my Instagram or Philippine Wrestling Revolution. You'll find the link there, and then it only costs about 500 pesos, which is like 10 US dollars pretty much. So it's totally worth it, and it's like so many hours of just Philippine wrestling.
Right.
So
I'll try and leave a link in the description for you guys to check it out, okay?
Yay. So yeah, that was my little plug.
yeah, for sure. Do as many plugs as you want, all right? Many plugs. But something I want to talk to you about that day is, and you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. You know, we can skip it if you like.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Do you want to take a guess what I'm gonna ask?
Yeah. So I post about it a lot actually on my Instagram. How like homecoming is supposed to be a big deal for us. I mean it is. And even after the show happened, it's like all the wrestlers were on cloud nine. They're so happy. They keep sharing any homecoming content with pride and joy. And meanwhile, I've actually admittedly have a bit of a hard time promoting that show because I did get injured very seriously.
Right.
So I guess what happened was, so it was a fatal four-way against PWR women. So we have Robin, Gemerlin, and Jay Sarah, and myself. And we were kind of we were like the first two matches. We were the second match. And so we were basically opening the show. And we were the 4 out of the 5 girls in that promotion. So obviously it was just like, we felt like we had so much to prove, especially being able to like wrestle in front of thousands of people. We all kind of had like this chip on our shoulders, and we really wanted to do good and take it seriously. I guess along the way, we took it too seriously, and I feel like we forgot to have fun and just let loose.
All right.
And so that match was basically, if you ask me, it was really a disaster, and it's a match that I'm not proud of. I was knocked out like halfway through, so probably like 5 minutes into the match. I unfortunately had an accident. I kind of caught a dive like in a really wrong way, and so I had a concussion, and I was knocked out. Like seriously, I didn't know. Like I was barely moving, and next thing I knew, like when I woke up, I was like already backstage sitting on a chair, and then medics are like icing my head because it's like really, really, really swollen. And I didn't know what just happened. I was like, where am I? And then probably like in 3 seconds, I was able to figure out like what happened and kind of made the connection. I was like, oh, I got knocked out. And when I realized that, I was like so angry at myself. I was just like really, really angry. I was actually in so much pain. I was so groggy and I started to cry. Medics were giving me water and I would just like throw the cups. I was so angry. I remember one of the few things I remember really was the sight of TJP kneeling in front of me and was like, hey, like, it's okay. It's not your fault. You totally did what you could. You saved another person's life, blah, blah, blah. And just like trying to make me feel better, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I was just so bummed out. I couldn't stop crying. Then I was into the ER. And then so I missed the entire show.
Oh.
And I came back. And the show was done already. Like all the confetti was out, people were heading out, like the show was done. And so I felt like, I mean, you can say, technically you can say that I was a part of homecoming, but I personally felt like I wasn't part of it because I was not there for like the whole experience. Like I didn't get to experience the magic of it and to see the TJP matches and the Jeff Cobb, like it really disappointed me. So obviously that really took a huge toll on me. And again, I took some more time off after that because I had to heal. I also had a hematoma. But yeah, so it was like a few months of just not talking about it, not watching my match. I just basically really tried to bury it in the back of my mind. And all of a sudden, these lockdowns happen and the Rona came through, or is still coming through. And all of a sudden it's like no more wrestling, and we figured that this would be the best opportunity to release Homecoming, to give people at home who are stuck at home, you know, a reason to smile. And so I had to do all these reviews of the matches because it had to be edited, and we were able to choose like what angles we wanted and all that kind of stuff. It was like part of the editing process. So obviously I was forced to watch it. It was really unpleasant. It really just, it brought back like all these terrible memories. And then having to promote it like on my page and stuff, it's so difficult to promote something that you're really, really not proud of. But you know, I need, like, I told myself like I wasn't gonna be selfish about it. I need to promote it because this is my home promotion and everyone else did magic and it's not fair of me. So you'll see my page, it's just full of homecoming stuff because I mean truly, I did get to watch the rest of the show like on my own, and yeah, it's just our wrestlers, like the Philippine wrestlers, really get to show you what they're made of, and it was just incredible. So I really urge everyone, again, like if you have all the time, like if you're bored, you want to watch some wrestling, watch some Philippine wrestling and go get our pay-per-view.
Yeah, so once again, guys, there's going to be a link in the description. Since we're on the topic of, you know, homecoming and on your page and everything, you want to go ahead and plug in your social media real quick? Where can people find you?
So Twitter and Instagram, it's at Nina_PWR. So Nina, that's NINA_PWR. So yeah, and then on Facebook, I do have a Facebook page, so they can just search Nina-PWR and you'll find me.
Oh, okay. Two-part question actually. How did you come up with your wrestling name, Nina?
Man, I'm not a creative person, honestly, and the idea of coming up with a name that is not mine, and really embracing it was just so weird to me. Like I thought of every name, and I just, well, that's not my name. Like I don't know. I do have a bit of a hard time. So I mean, I don't want to use my real name, which is Nicole, and
That was the second part of the question.
well,
You answer my questions without.
I read your mind.
I know, right? Oh my god, this is cool.
I read your mind. But yeah, so usually girls who have Nicole as their first name, like Nikki Bella, yeah, well, they would start using Nikki. And I just thought of I thought about it like for the long run, like there's so many female wrestlers whose name is Nikki already. So I was like, okay, I'll probably not use that. But like I really just didn't want to stray too far from my real name, just because it's just weird. Like if I got something completely different, I just found it strange. So I was playing Tekken, and I saw Nina from Tekken.
No, what? Damn.
So I was like, okay, like at least I still get to keep like the first syllable of my name.
Right.
And yeah, I just went with it.
Oh,
and like I guess I just kept it like on a first day basis. Like I didn't bother to add a last name. Just because like at that time when I was thinking about it, like that was also the time where WWE was kind of like taking the last names away from girls.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have Charlotte, Bailey, Oksana, like whatever, right? Like they all just kept having like one first name, and I was like, well, okay, then I guess I don't really need a last name. I'll just go by Nina. So, yeah.
If you had to choose a last name, can you think of anything?
I really can't. I'm like not creative. I told you.
What's your actual last name?
Oh, it's like really complicated to pronounce. It's French.
Like
I'll spell it.
For us to pronounce it.
Yeah, I'll spell it out and then try to pronounce it.
Okay.
So it's LE space SAUX.
Lesux?
See? That's
okay, how do you pronounce it?
So Lesso.
Lesso. Oh, okay, Lesso. See, that sounds like a good name, Nina Lesso.
No, absolutely not. That's not happening.
So what are you doing for work right now, or other than wrestling? You know, like what other jobs do you have right now?
So my day job is that I work in advertising. So I'm a copywriter for a digital agency. So yeah, just nice. A lot of writing.
How's this? Okay, so non-job wise, how's this quarantine? Affected you?
Actually, I'm not. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm not in the Philippines right now.
Oh,
I'm in Malaysia.
Oh, what?
Neighboring country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've actually stayed here for about 3 months now. Well, ever since the lockdown started in March over here. I was here because of my brother's wedding, and so married a Malaysian. So we're all here, and then all of a sudden, the Philippines announces that it was going to go on a lockdown. So nothing was happening here in Malaysia yet. So my family made the decision to just stay here. I mean, we have a house here and everything, so it's fine. And then soonly after that, like days later, Malaysia then announces its own lockdown. So yeah, we all just had to stay home. I'm really lucky to still be able to work from home I have the best company, and even though like they know I'm in Malaysia, they still allowed me to, you know, earn money.
Right.
Which I know a lot of people are struggling with at the moment. So I really am truly super blessed that I get to work from home. So yeah, I mean, it sucks to be stuck here. I had a whole vacation planned with my boyfriend in the Philippines. He was supposed to come visit, and we were supposed to go to the beach and everything, and all of that. Like flights canceled, Airbnbs all canceled. I mean, yeah. So I mean, obviously that part, like, it really, really sucks when you think about it. But at the same time, I'm not really a people person. Well, I mean, like, I'm nice to people, I guess, but like I don't really like to socialize. Like, I'm kind of awkward, and so staying in my room, being locked in my room all day in front of my computer is really nothing new to me. So yeah, I mean, it has its pros and its cons, but overall, I'm okay.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. All right, so I want to play a little quick game with you. It's probably the worst game I've ever came up with, but it's something I continue to do it, hoping that, you know, it gets over.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a minute on the clock, okay, and I'm gonna rapid fire some questions at you, and you just answer them.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
No.
All right. If you win, you get absolutely nothing, and if you lose, you get absolutely nothing. Does it sound fair?
Hooray!
All right, Nina, you are in the hot rod seat. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, here we go. A minute on the clock. Ready? And go. If you could close one fast food chain due to disgusting food, what would you pick?
McDonald's.
McDonald's? I mean, when scrolling through social media, do you prefer posts from celebrities or from your best friends?
Celebrities. Sorry.
What are you freakishly bad at?
Folding clothes.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, cats.
Cats. I mean,
I like both, but
what?
I had a cat, so I guess I'll pick that.
What is one food that you will never give up?
Food or fruit?
Food.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Okay. Childhood celebrity crush.
Oh my gosh. Colin Dylan Sprouse. I don't know.
Okay. Secret hidden talent.
I can paint and sing.
Sick. Oh, what? You can? All right, bam. Time's up. Damn, that was a minute. That was a fast minute. You can sing too?
Yeah, I'm like I graduated from arts, so I've just always been a really artsy person growing up. So.
All right, sing the national anthem for us.
No! No! Do not make me sing! I'll post some covers on my Instagram from time to time, so
all right,
make sure to follow me there.
I will hold you to it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, final question. What is I was trying to figure out what was your theme song? It sounded like a good song.
Oh, thank you.
I couldn't figure it out.
My friend actually made it for me.
Oh, what?
So, yeah. So
I was trying to
custom.
Oh, okay. Is it anywhere for us to listen or no?
Not yet.
Oh.
But it should be out soon. I know some people are working on that.
Okay.
So when it's out there, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that song is like completely custom. My friend Alex Densing made it for me. Yeah, like at that time, a lot of the people and like most of the girls were just using instrumentals. And I knew I wanted some lyrics like on my song just to be like different, to keep things fresh. But we weren't allowed to use like actual like real songs out there because copyright.
Yeah.
So yeah, my friend was just really, really nice enough to do that for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah,
it does have like page vibes.
I was gonna post this on my on my social media to, you know, promote this interview, but you know, I always post it after the interview just in case the interview for whatever reason doesn't happen and I'm promoting it for no reason, you know. So
Yeah.
I did this little short, super short video. It's like 15 seconds long. I use clips from that match that I keep mentioning. I use like clips from that, and I put music. And I was trying to hear the song so I could use that song like in the video, but I couldn't figure out like. And I used that feature, the song recognition on Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this song? I was like, I can't figure out what song this is. So check this out. Where's the play button at? Okay. Crap. Okay.
You got it there. Oh, Paramore. Wow. That's so cool. I love that. Paramore was like the best band you could have chosen.
Yeah. So I was like, I was like, what song is kind of, has the same vibe, and then I thought of that song, and I was like, okay. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna be using that to promote this interview, you know. So I was like,
awesome! I love it so much. I can't wait to share it.
Oh, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I think we've covered a lot. Man, is there anything that you want to share in general? I mean, I think we covered a lot.
Anything what you want to know? I'm fine. It's a Friday night, you know, no work tomorrow. I can stay up all night. I mean, I've done my plugging, but I guess it doesn't hurt to do it again.
Yeah, go ahead. One last time.
So, PWR Special Homecoming. It's available on pay-per-view for 500 Philippine pesos, or approximately $10. You can find the link to the stream down below, or on my social media. I will post it on my bio. So you can go check out that link, purchase it, and a password will be given to you, and you'll have access to the whole show. No commercial break or anything like that. So yeah, and then you'll get to experience what Philippine wrestling is all about.
Oh yes.
So this event meant so much for us and for Philippine wrestling history. So yeah, it would mean a lot if my American fans or this American audience would go and check it out. That would mean the whole world to us.
I just thought of another question, and I'm kind of hesitant to ask it, but screw it. You know,
go ahead.
I was gonna ask it. Do you plan on staying with PWR, like, you know, for a long time, or is the plan to go, you know, to a bigger? I'm not saying you guys aren't big, but I'm saying like to a major promotion, like, you know, AEW, NXT, Ring of Honor, anything like that.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say that every one of us who are wrestling in PWR right now, we are wrestling in PWR because of our dreams of being in these big leagues, because we were watching these big leagues. Sure. So I think it's in everybody, it's part of everybody's drive and motivation to want to be signed into these amazing places. I personally don't see myself staying in the Philippines for much longer. I've always planned, like ever since I was a teen, like that I was gonna eventually move out. And since I'm doing long distance with my boyfriend, I do plan on following him there in LA. And yeah, LA.
I'm an hour away from LA. Let's go.
Awesome. So, yeah, we could like see each other and stuff. Go grab an ice cream or something.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you know next time I
maybe like
go back to California.
Yeah, like in 2021 when hopefully things are back to normal by then.
Yeah.
Or sooner rather than later, you know, when everything's back to normal. Because I think, man, it's crazy we've gone this long without talking about Corona.
Yeah, I mentioned it, but I mean, like, it's just
I don't
don't know.
I don't think this interview was gonna be possible without having to talk about that.
Actually.
Man.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I really hope to go there really soon. So I mean, PWR wasn't going to be for me forever, but it's always going to be there forever, and it will always be my home. Every time I will ever come home to the Philippines, I will always come home to PWR. And wherever in the world I live, like, I will always have them in my heart. That's where I started.
Right.
But obviously, when the opportunity arises, like in front of me, if it's there for me to take, I obviously will not say no, and that would be so cool. But I don't know, it's hard to think about that. It's like I still have a lot to work on, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's most of the wrestlers' fantasies. Like that's why we do this, because of all the stuff that we've watched from the big leagues. So.
I know it's pretty early in your career to say this, but I'm gonna say it, and you know what? I think I'm gonna speak it into existence. All right. So I feel like many years down the road, you know, you probably, you know, if you're not in PWR anymore, I feel like a few years down the road, I feel like you're gonna be that big name that PWR brings back, just like TJP was, like, you know, like he was like the big attraction to the show along with Jeff Cobb. I feel like also one day you're gonna be that big name that they bring back for a big show.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm speaking.
That means so much.
Yeah, I'm speaking that into existence right now.
That means so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, I have a really long way to go, guys. Yeah. But yeah, I do surround myself with like the best people, the best trainers, the best friends who really helped me develop in my craft. So yeah, who knows, maybe one day. I mean, I know that I won't stop working for it. It's definitely something I want. Who knows, but I'm gonna, you know, stay humble and like, I have a long way to go, man. Like, I really appreciate it. Right?
Yeah, no problem. But I mean, hey, you're only 24. I mean, so I mean, you're still pretty young. So I mean, it's not like you're running. It's not like you're running out of time, you know, like.
Oh, I feel like I am. 24 is so old for me.
I feel old, and I'm only 22.
Really? I'm older than you?
Yeah, 2 years.
Oh, I feel like a grandma.
Oh God. Hey, people tell me I look 27. That's the highest I've gotten.
I think it's the beard.
That's what everybody tells me. Yeah, when I shave, they're like, "Now you look your age."
Like 10 years younger.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, look at this little baby and whatnot. I'm like, nah. Yeah. I was like, I had to clean up my quarantine beard because my quarantine beard was not camera ready. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, this is like the first time I put on makeup in so many months.
Oh my God. Well, Nina, thank you so much for. I really appreciate your time. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
Oh, thank you very, very, very much. I think we're all set. I think so. Once again, I cannot say it enough. Nina, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was really great. It was really great meeting you. You know, here online, but I hope one day down the future, I get to meet you in person and hopefully take a pic with you. Like, hey, what's up?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's really awesome.
Problem.
I love talking, and so this was fun.
Oh, thank you. So, Nina, thank you once again.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day, okay?
You too.
All right, thank you. Take care.
How's that for an interview, huh? Come on, let's go. Come on, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys made it to the end, thank you so much. Let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up. Comment down what you guys think of this interview. And once again, everything we talked about, there's links in the description. If you guys want to follow me or Nina on social media, everything will be in the description. Be sure to check out my podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.